The election is finally over, and we somewhat see the results. I have to say somewhat because I haven't seen any real numbers on how many voted for who and who didn't actually vote, and I don't think those true numbers will come out for various reasons, but I will be on the lookout for the consensus. This is a screenshot of stats being shared everywhere, giving people a false impression of what percentage of demographics voted for Trump versus Harris, and it's false because it's only a screenshot of a Democratic and Republican breakdown from Georgia. Of course, 90% of black women on that chart voted blue because of the Atlanta Metroplex. And since it's in a southern state, other races have more red. So I just wanted to establish that because a lot of black women right now are under the impression that this is how America voted when that's really not the case. The media is pushing the screenshot to be accepted as fact for the entirety of America. Nationwide, some black women didn't vote, some voted red, and majority who did vote went blue, but 90% of black women did not vote Democrat like people are claiming. And an increased number of white males didn't even support Trump. But I don't know if that will ever even be in the media because there is an agenda behind hiding those numbers and missing ballots. Even if the numbers come out, I honestly don't think it'll be accurate. The majority of America did not go out and vote for Trump. And there's a reason why a lot of hardcore white Trump supporters will still hide behind MAGA influencers online and won't speak their mind in real life. They know the average person they interact with will probably side-eye them for whatever socially unacceptable opinion they could have among other white people. Black women were going to take an L regardless of who was selected to be the next president. It's just a matter of which specific L's. Lack of more access to reproductive rights to me is the big L we took for us as a group of women who understand the importance of other women not birthing a certain demographic that harms us. And of course, this is the sacrifice white women were happy to make to keep their white privileges. Since we are a small part of the population and cannot outvote other groups, this isn't shocking. We just have to find a way to move around that. I previously mentioned this about abortion. It's important for us, but we can't dictate how that moves because it's almost out of our control. Black women can't force other women to prioritize what they don't want to prioritize. Arguing with them on social media is a waste of energy. White males pay their bills, give them protection, and put them on a pedestal. Black women don't. Black women's own community is chaos, so no one is going to take these lectures too seriously if we're being honest. But we're essentially getting dragged into white people's problems because they are a majority and we are a minority. The wider deal here is that the powers that be want to control who is giving birth and how much, and white males want more white babies. But they won't take black women out of the Caucasian group chat because if one group of women have too much freedom, every other group will get ideas. And they can't have a black slave underclass if black women aren't endlessly having kids. But what I really want to talk about is liberal black women's response to other groups and collective reaction. Chastising people who voted in their own interests, instead of just quietly doing the same thing, is not really helpful from left-leaning black women upset they were left holding the Democratic bag. Despite what a lot of y'all are telling white women, they mostly did not vote against their own interests, and they won't regret it. Middle and upper-class white women gained more than they could have lost in this election. No one is going to be shamed out of doing what they believe is in their best interest. They're just going to hide who and what they support when people publicly shame them. Low-class white women took a pretty big L, and that's just a sacrifice that other white women are willing to take. Just to put into perspective how other demographics operate differently than black women right now, I am disappointed that these lectures are going on and the collective is still neglecting to acknowledge black women's specific issues that were ignored all election cycle. Black femicide remains unaddressed, and some black women are actually praising black males for voting against a white male who promised to give police qualified immunity, and they believe they would have been the target of that. They know now incel white males are not going to prioritize a fake brotherhood with them at the expense of the women who can give them white babies, and that's why they voted the way they voted. For themselves, under another male patriarchy not in support of democratic black women, other demographics voted specifically for what they believed was best for their demographic, not for or against black women. And I think it's important for the collective, regardless of who you supported, to remember not everyone hates Black women. One mistake I see being made is trying to separate other races into Kamala supporters versus Trump supporters, under the impression that Kamala supporters are synonymous with people Black women should trust, when that's definitely not the case. Kamala herself put our image on a big stage as a bunch of twerking women incapable of speaking on policy while catering to the demographic taking the life of Black women every 4 hours. So in those spaces, Black women's image went from Michelle Obama giving speeches people found iconic for the past 2 decades to just rapping, muling for foreign Arabs on TikTok, and arguing with people about flags and bios. There's people in this world who are apolitical that have done more for Black women than a Democrat wearing a performative Listen to Black Women shirt. Kamala is not a Black woman, and she had no specific policies for Black women. So the people voting were not voting for or against Black women, but anyone who sees her as a representation of us and wanted the opportunity to say there's a Black woman president are going to take this L very personally. Racism and misogyny worked against Harris, yes, but no matter how horrible or perfect her campaign was, she was never going to be selected. Outside of the loud, rage-baiting racist and misogynist, normal people in real life are more concerned with their wallets and the economy than her identity, and they cared more about inflation being addressed than listening to. Rappers on stage. No one wants to listen to Black women talk about racism. They want to talk about their personal issues and the cost of groceries, and Republicans acknowledge that more than Democrats. We really benefit and understand when we move away from the polarization the country wants us to be in America. Our opinions and who we interact with don't have to just be red and blue like others want it to be. A lot of Black women are emotional right now, and people want to use those emotions because Black women are still all over the internet telling everybody how they feel and what they want to do instead of moving in silence. It's really important that we don't lean into the radical and extremism. And radicals on both wings, because both wings are on the same bird, and it doesn't serve us to fight for them. Hence white women now telling feminist Black women to use their anger against males right now to create male-hating podcasts and be the face of 4B. That way when males attack back, they can hide behind Black women and tell. White males, the angry feminist Blacks, are attacking their white patriarchy when they were just trying to be innocent housewives. Hence Black males constantly inciting and throwing white male racism in Black women's faces, fear-mongering. If you don't try to dedicate your life to trying to attach yourself to one of them, build community, also known as give them your money and join in on their throwing other Black women under the bus, the white devil is going to get you. Hence right-wing white males fear-mongering Black women, they're going to make them social pariahs, kick them out of the workforce, and call them ugly if they don't get in line, start praising white Jesus, and preach the gospel of how women are inferior trash. Not to mention left-wing white males' obsession with pushing the image of a militant Black woman that lives to fight the power. So people aren't out to defeat Black women, people are out to gain control of Black women. The next 4 years is going to be serious propaganda pushed everywhere. For the minority of Black women who have ran to the far, far right wing, I'm aware that there's a lot of nuance why some of these women support that. And I mean the extreme ones, so excluding the women who have been quietly supporting Republican for years for financial reasons, but I mean the other new, very recent influx. Unfortunately, some of them are misled in thinking throwing other Black women under the bus publicly will save them, and it definitely won't. They are moving the same as the far-left ones who are on Twitter right now, finger-wagging Black women for drinking Starbucks and low-key, accusing them of committing genocide, and once again putting a target on our back. To me, this pendulum swing of caping for all Black people and Democratic hardcore to caping for white people and Republicans hardcore is the result of women just wandering. They never put themselves first and are scared of being without community, probably scared of backlash from having the same image of women who took the L and see no other alternative other than clinging on to the group of people with the most resources and hoping they won't hate them. If Black women don't create an alternative lane for frustrated Black girls and women in the next 2 to 4 years, you're leaving the collective just like this group to be manipulated by other people for their own gain. Content like Share a 7 and similar will have a lot of you all not prioritizing getting your ducks in a row and instead still obsessing over pretty privilege, debating what the Little Mermaid is doing, making more think pieces about our hair, and trying to take the white woman route and call yourself a church going trad wife to seek protection and resources, but I'm telling y'all now, that's not the move. Since a lot of like-minded Black women are not making content, the content they consume is being made by people who have their own agendas. There'll definitely be an increase in propaganda, like I always say, despite some people's hate. Black women are very influential, and people want Black women on their side speaking for them, being an attack dog and shield to take all the blowback hits. Some are struggling with the realization that there's no women community, same as there is no Black people community. So really, I'm wanting the pendulum shift between whites and Black males to stop in the middle, so Black women will stop supporting either one of them and start supporting themselves. The next move has to be genuine self-care, Black women community, restoring a social and political reputation that stands on reasoning instead of too much emotion. Not the performative pro-Black woman speak after a public L, but genuinely and long-term. Money and information runs the world right now, not morals. It's not mentally or physically healthy to be outraged all the time. Despite what the loud minority is screeching with the help of mainstream media, the collective of Black women are not sister soldier and hyper-liberal and progressive trying to burn the system down. And we also are not regressive. Majority of us are moderate, and since political correctness is basically out the window now, that should be publicly embraced. Taking controversial far-end stands in public does not serve you, especially if it's not something you genuinely believe in. The normal average American does not support males trying to be women, people looting stores. They want hyperinflation and the economy addressed before anything else. They don't want Spanish speakers or violent Muslims coming through the border, etc. So when the collective of Black women are not making it clear what they're supporting and not supporting, people will just assume. Remember that we don't control the media sending this message. This is one of many reasons why it would benefit a lot of Black women to not register as a Democrat or Republican in future elections if they choose to participate. But as an independent and consistently correct anyone that tries to put words in your mouth and say what policy or agenda you support or don't support. Do not let other people use you as the disruptor. If anyone has anything to speak on, just let them do it. If you see Black women posting about destroying the patriarchy, if you see Black women talking about wanting to make content in any political form, tell them privately or in their comments it needs to be a faceless account. There's people scouring the internet waiting for y'all to press record on your phone and start screeching and attacking other demographics. Stop talking about how Black males vote. Stop trying to harass Latinos to vote one way or the other. People are waiting on you to make this content to repost as an example of what all Black women are doing, and we aren't. A lot of the Black women right now that are saying burn the cape will probably not address that last year or the year before when other Black women were telling them this. They were ignoring them or attacking them. If these ladies are being honest with themselves, a lot of self-reflecting should be done for those who spent years isolating themselves into echo chambers that slid into the far left and bubbles where everyone is a yes man or scared to disagree. Cult-like environments will never serve Black women. When we're listening to everything and paying attention to what everyone is saying and doing, it's easier to navigate and know when people are saying one thing to your face but moving a different way. But when you're in an echo chamber, there is no self-awareness. We can definitely use the upcoming time we have to make money. If Trump passes tariffs, the cost of living potentially can go up. Not to fearmonger, just to warn. Please ignore the people telling you all to go run and fix the Black community and hurry up and get prepared to mule for the midterms. There is also people telling Black women to move to Black cities because Black people were elected. We've already learned that Black women are not safe in Black majority areas. And if someone has your skin color but is not serving you, then what's the point of them? I'm not arguing with any Black woman that continues mooling going forward. I'm just separating from them. The energy Black women right now are giving to tell people they're going to ignore them can actually go towards making sure minor Black girls are being protected and given what they need, especially from the OBGYN. Not just biological daughters, because a lot of us don't even have kids, but any Black girl, and then support given to other adult Black women by supporting their businesses or whatever it is they're trying to do. We can stop supporting people who want to make our collective synonymous with a political party. Politicization is dehumanizing. So let's move on, taking care of our mental health and wellness, physical health work, preserving energy and not giving it all to rage baiters and trying to moral police other people. Focusing on group economics among other women, and preparing to protect and advocate for ourselves better.